According to Adrian Wojnarowski, the Knicks and Raptors have reportedly come up with a trade deal that they're on the verge of finalizing. So the trade involves OG Anunoby, Malachi Flynn, Precious Achiuwa for RJ Barrett, Immanuel Quickley, and the Knicks 2024 second round pick. How do I feel about this? Well, I thought when RJ was first drafted by the Knicks, he had some potential to be an all-star player. That I saw sparks and flashes of it during his rookie year. But when you look at his numbers, he didn't really get that much better the last 4 or 5 years. His numbers have pretty much stayed the same. He's had some slight scoring increases and decreases the last few years, but he's still not an efficient player. He's averaging 18.2 points per game this year, but overall from the field, 42%, 33% from three, and that's just not going to cut it. Those are really bad numbers when you look at the efficiency that he's really been terrible and inconsistent. And this is year 5 for him, so he's not going to ever really change as a player. This is who he's going to be for his whole entire career. He's kind of like an empty stat player at times, just a chucker, but he's just not good enough to be a great player or even a borderline all-star when I look at him, when I've seen him play in the past. So I can see why the Knicks would want to move on from him. Now, when I look at OG Anunoby, I've always actually liked his game. I wanted the Spurs to get him several years back when Kawhi was forcing his way out. I was actually hoping he was the guy the Spurs would trade Kawhi for in the Raptors deal. So I was, excuse me, greatly disappointed when the Spurs weren't able to get him, because I thought in their system they could have developed him to be even a better player. But he's a really good player, just a really good 3-and-D guy. I've always liked his game. And he could put up decent offensive numbers. He'll get you 15, 17 a game. This year, he's averaging 15 points on 48 overall from the field, 37 from three. So he's good when it comes to efficiency. So that's one thing, if you're a Knicks fan, you have to be happy about. And the Knicks desperately need a small forward in the worst way. So I think he fills in that gap for them. That's something that they have great need for at this moment of time. I still feel that their backcourt is undersized with Jalen Brunson and Dante Vincenzo, that they need to get a bigger two guard eventually. So maybe they'll make another move for that. We'll see. Them getting Precious Achiuwa, I think, was a solid move because due to Mitchell Robinson's season-ending injury, they're very short when it comes to having big men. Granted, he is undersized at 6'8", but he can play power forward and center, especially when you want to do the small ball matchup. So that was a good move for the Knicks, I feel, getting him in this trade. I don't know much about Malachi Flynn's game to really comment on it. I just look at his numbers, just 5 points a game, 40 overall from the field, which is garbage. His three-point shooting this year has been decent at 35, so maybe he can, make an impact for them when I look at his game. I feel the Knicks are going to really miss Immanuel Quickley. This guy was really a great sixth man for them. He was having a solid season from what I last checked of him. Let me see if I can pull up his numbers. I'm just going to pull them up right now. See if they show up. Yeah, so I got them pulled up. So he's averaging 15 points this year on 45% shooting, 39 from three. So he was having a really good year coming off the bench. He was a great sixth man. And I don't think the Knicks are going to be able to replace that easily. I think that's what they're going to really miss, is the depth part about it. Just who's going to rise up and fill his scoring void off the bench. I don't know, to be honest. So I think they're going to greatly miss him. But I've heard the Knicks did not want to give him the money that he wanted, since his rookie deal was going to end after the season. So they were going to let him walk anyways. So I guess they felt they had to package him. But I think the Knicks were looking to make a move, and they made one. I'm not sure if this move is going to really put them over the top like they've tried to get over the last few years. They've been a decent team, a middle of pack team, but I don't think they can become an elite team. Maybe it could possibly, but I'm not sure it will. I think they're going to stay where they're at, just middle of the pack. I think that's where they're going to stay. Probably the best option for this team is fourth or fifth seed in the playoffs. Best projection, as I would say. So that's all I have to say about this trade. That's pretty much it.